stop ignition.
Please, sir. How long, sir? What's my time, sir?
Timekeeper, time please, Rhino.
Please, sir. How long?
Well done, Roach. Knew you would. Second time round.
Sir, how long?
Now then, Jumbo. See that man? Who's he then? Seen him before?
No, sir.
Anybody seen him before?
No, sir.
He's not staff and he's not village. So who is he? Beggar man? Thief?
Tinker Tailor Soldier Sailor.
Rich man? Poor man? Beggar man?
Thief.
Why doesn't he look this way? Something funny about that. Here's a bunch of boys burning up a car around a playing field and he doesn't even give them a glance. You would, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir.
Doesn't he like boys? Doesn't he like cars? Doesn't even look at that car. Best Britain ever made and years out of production. Right. Gather round. Come on. Right, now, anybody sees him again, let me know. Or any other sinister bodies, understand?
Yes, sir.
Don't want juju men wandering around pretending they don't know we exist. First glimpse, tell me, right?
Yes, sir.
You know, Jumbo, don't hold with odd bods wandering around a school. Last place I was at, we had a whole gang broke in, cleared the place out. House cups, money, boys' watches. Nothing sacred to types like that. We don't want to swiping the Alvis. We're irreplaceable! Thanks to socialism. Colour of hair, Jumbo?
Sort of light-coloured, sir.
Height?
About the same as you, sir.
Age?
Well, hard to say, really, sir.
Go as it was, at that distance. You'd know him again, Jumbo, for sure. Best watcher in the unit, Jumbo Roach is, eh? As long as he keeps his specs clean. it's you, Jumbo.
Oh, my legs, sir.
Oh, dear. Ah, can you get up? Now, slowly. Slowly. Fell off the bricks, did you, Jumbo? Let's have a look. Ah, nothing broken. Just a graze. Matron will soon put that right. One thing gives you a good excuse for getting in late. Missing evensong. Tripped over in the lane. Is that what you tell her? We got a secret, haven't we? I can trust you, I know that. We're good at keeping secrets, loners like you and me.
Is it because of that man? Would you shoot him? Are you working undercover like Bulldog Drummond in the book? Some of the boys wanted to call you Bulldog, but we thought Rhino was better. Bigger than a bulldog.
I used to be a soldier, Jumbo. What you saw just now, that's a souvenir. You know, it's like this. How I got it, they're both secrets. I keep them to myself. You understand, don't you, Jumbo, eh?
Yes, sir.
Knew you would. Knew you would. Good night, Jumbo.
Good night, sir. Thank you, sir.
Well, long time no see.
Hello, sir.
Care for it?
Very impressive.
Better than selling washing machines, anyway. It's a bit odd putting the dinner jacket on at 10 o'clock in the morning, of course. Reminds me of diplomatic cover, come to think of it. Believe it or not, it's straight, which makes a change. We get all the help we need from the arithmetic.
I'm sure you do.
My employers might let me invest a few pennies of my own before too long. They're tough boys, but very go-ahead, you know. Rather like we were in the old days. So, what can I do for you?
I want to talk to you about the night Jim Prideaux was shot. The night of Operation Testify, which was what it was called, in case you didn't know.
Oh, writing your memoirs, George?
We are reopening the case.
Who's this we, old boy?
Lacon called me in, with the minister's blessing. I can give you a telephone number to confirm, although I'd prefer not.
All power corrupts, but some must govern, and in that case, Brother Lacon will reluctantly scramble to the top of the heap.
The record's been filleted. Of what there is on the file, the most useful piece of information is that you were duty officer that night.
Yes. Yes, I'd just come back from Tokyo, a 3-year stint. Nobody seemed to have any plans for me, so I thought I'd push off to the south of France for a month's leave. And then old Mendel, controls minder, picked me up in the passage and marched me off to sea control. The whole place felt weird. There was nobody about except the radio and code people. That Harridan Molly somebody or other was monitoring, a busy little body.
Molly Purcell.
You were in Berlin, Bill Hayden was up country, and Percy Allaline was in Scotland. Control seemed to have cleared the decks. My God, he was a shock. I'd heard he wasn't his old self anymore, but I hadn't been prepared for this. It was like opening a coffin lid. He didn't waste time on any pleasantries.
I need somebody good to man the switchboard. It's got to be an old hand. I could bring in somebody from one of the outstations, but you're better, because you've been away for so long, away from the infighting and the vendettas around this place. You don't know what I'm talking about. That's good. Just do exactly what I tell you. There could be a crisis tonight. I've got a man doing a special job. It's of the utmost importance to the service. The service, it's for us. It could change everything for us. Your job tonight is to act as cutout. Cutout between me and whatever goes on in the rest of the building. If anything comes in, radio signal, phone call, letter, anything at all, no matter how trivial it seems, you are to wait. Wait until the coast is clear and then bring it straight to me by hand, Sam. You don't use the internal phones. You don't put anything down on paper for future reference. Is that understood? And when it's all over, you're not to breathe a word about it. Never. Not to anybody. Not to Smiley. Not to Hayden. Not to Bland. Nobody.
What if I have to send out something?
Only what I tell you.
The defensive weaknesses have, I think, cost them the match, which could now be sewn up by Paul Mariner. Or by Woods. Two are still down. Or by Muren. Or by Walk. And in the end, by none of them. Unbelievable. And Paul Mariner is completely flat. And he deserves a great deal better than that, because I think by shade he's my man of the match.
Bollocks. The studio officer? Right. Yes, I see. Yeah, well, I have to call you back. It all sounds very unlikely.
Collins, this is urgent.
Well, it's open.
There's all hell broken out on the Czechoslovak air. Half of it's coded, but there's enough that isn't.
Prague or Brunner?
Brunner.
Yes? All right, Molly, keep listening. Control? Oh, Control. The resident clerk from the Foreign Office came on first with a story from Reuters, head man in London. Molly picked the same thing up on the radio. And Reuters and a couple of Fleet Street papers have already had another go at the Foreign Office. They're saying that a British spy has been shot in Brunner. The Czechs are telling the world about an act of gross provocation by a Western power. They haven't named the dead man yet. Can I have a brief, please? Control, I need a brief. We must say something. Do you want me to deny it? A flat denial, just to start with. Do you want me to get someone else in? Do you want to come downstairs and handle it yourself?
It's deniable he had foreign documents. No one could know he was British at this stage. There hasn't been time. Even if he's not dead. Find Smiley.
He's in Berlin.
Yes. Well, anyone will do. It makes no difference. Tell Mendel to get me a taxi.
You sent Mendel home.
He's been named.
Hello? Hello. Hello, is that Mrs. Smiley? You got my message then?
Where did you leave it?
I rang George Smiley's house just in case his wife happened to know where you were. You are a friend of the family, aren't you?
I saw the ticker tape at the club. I gather there's been some god-awful shooting party. Tell me, Czechoslovakia, right?
Jim Prideaux's been shot. Look, the Czechs haven't got his real name yet. They're using his work name, Ellis.
Jim. Shot dead?
Well, we're not sure. That was the first flash. Since then, the word used is simply shot. Well, the Czechs are saying that Prideaux, Ellis, travelling on false papers and assisted by Czech counter-revolutionaries, tried to kidnap a Czech general, unnamed, in a forest near Brno, and smuggle him over the Austrian border. They say that further arrests are imminent.
Go on.
Well, according to our military, there are heavy Czech tank movements along the Austrian border. Laken's been on, and so's the minister. They want to know what the hell and why. Now, I have put out emergency calls to Smiley, Alaline, Bland. I'm glad to see you. I'm sorry, Bill.
All right, Sam. Now, first thing we do, you call this number. It's Toby Esterhazy. Tell him you're speaking from me, and he's to pick up the 2 Czech agents we've had our eyes on at the London School of Economics, and lock them up. Now. Straight away, Sam. Jim's worth a lot more than those 2. But it's a start. I'll have a word with the Chief Hood at the Czech Embassy. If they hurt a hair of Jim Prideaux's head, I'll strip the entire Czech network in this country bare. And he can pass that on to his masters. I'll make him the laughing stock of the profession.
I'm bound to say Hayden was a treat to watch. I used to think of him as a pretty erratic sort of devil. Not that night, believe me. He virtually dictated a press statement for the Foreign Office to put out. And there it was the following morning in the Sunday papers. Prague radio's sensational revelations dismissed with dignified scorn. I found it good light reading over breakfast at the Savoy.
And then you went to the south of France?
2 lovely months.
Did anyone question you again?
Percy Alaline. Well, he was acting chief by then. You were out on your ear and Control was in hospital. Percy wants to know how I'd come to be doing duty officer on the fateful night. That chap Masterman was down for it. Well, I told him what I'd put to Masterman, that I'd know at a kip and a quiet weekend in the circus would save me a bit of spending money for the south of France. Percy said I was a liar.
And that's why they sacked you? For fibbing?
Alcoholism. There were 5 empty beer cans in the duty officer's wastepaper basket. Well, there's a standing order against booze on the premises. So what was your offence, George?
Oh, I couldn't convince them that I wasn't involved.
Oh, well, if you want anyone's throat cut, give me a buzz.
Sam, listen. It was too late for Hayden's club to be still running ticker tape, wasn't it? He was making love to Anne that night. You made a guess at that, and you were right. You telephoned her. She told you he wasn't there, and then as soon as you'd rung off, she pushed him out of bed. And Bill turned up an hour later, knowing about Checo. But you didn't tell Anne about Checo. I'll find my own way down.
Mind how you go, George.
Smiley.
Jim.
If you're not on your own, I swear I'll break your neck.
Quite alone, Jim.
God damn you, George. What the hell do you want?
I'm sorry, Jim, but I have to know what happened.
I'm finished, man. They told me to draw the line. I've drawn it.
How'd you like schoolmastering? I think you had a spell of it after the war, didn't you? Was that at a prep school?
Don't come round here playing cat and mouse with me, George Smiley. Look at the file.
Circus file? Not available to me, Jim. I'm blackballed.
Hard luck.
I've had access to a few papers, which Lacon borrowed for me. Pretty old stuff. Part of it went right back to your undergraduate days when you and Bill Hayden met at Oxford. There's a letter Bill wrote about you to his tutor, Fanshawe, circus talent spotter, in which Bill named you as suitable material for British intelligence. I can quote the odd line from memory. He has that heavy quiet that commands. He's my other half. Between us, we'd make one marvelous man. He asks nothing better than to be in my company or that of my wicked, divine friends, and I'm vastly tickled by the compliment. He's virgin, about 8 foot tall, and built by the same firm that did Stonehenge.
Christ. Oh, Christ, man, we were children.
Yes, of course.
What do you want to know?
I thought we could at least be comfortable while we talk. It isn't far.
I came round in a prison hospital. Barred windows, high up. They operated after a fashion. Next time I came round, I was in a prison cell, no windows at all. I tried to work out a plan of campaign to meet the interrogation. I knew I'd never be able to keep quiet. No chance of that. If I was to stay sane, and possibly even survive, there'd have to be dialogue. At the end, they'd have to believe I told them all I knew. I decided I'd give them my version of Operation Testify first, the one Control spelled out for me. I was head of scalp hunters. I mounted my own campaign without the knowledge of my superiors because I wanted to prove I was worth promotion. If I could believe that, I could bury deep inside myself all thoughts of a traitor inside the circus. No mole, no meeting with Control, no Tinker Tailor. I was there to turn General Stevchik, and just that. Then I thought I could throw them the names of 1 or 2 other Soviet and satellite officials who've been turned recently. I might even give them the rundown of my entire Brixton stable. Anything, so long as I forgot the mole and Tinker Tailor and kept myself out Czech networks. You know, I recruited the founder members.
Yes, a fine piece of work.
That's the joke. They couldn't care less about the networks. Knew it all. Rolled them up, have they? They knew damn well that Testify was my private brainchild. I began exactly where I wanted to end, with the briefing in St. James's. All they wanted to talk about was Control's rotten apple theory, Tinker Tailor, the circus spy.
Did they actually know the address of the St. James's flat?
Yeah, they knew the brand of the sherry.
What about the charts? Control's charts on General Stevchik's career. Did they know about those?
No. Not at first. Tell me about the networks. Did anyone get out?
No. It seems they were shot. The story is you blew them to save your own skin. I know that isn't true, of course.
For Christ's sake, let's go somewhere where we can breathe. They moved me about a lot. Different rooms, different prisons, depending on who was doing the interrogating and what methods they wanted to use. There's quite a lot of muscle. Electrical, most of it. Yes, movement. Cars, lorries, corridors, cells. Once in a plane, I was hooded for it and passed out soon after takeoff. Punished for that. Think I was in Russia part of the time.
Would you like to stretch your legs?
Might help. They went straight to the heart of it. Why did Control go it alone? What did he hope to achieve? His comeback, I said. I got a laugh. The tin pot information about Checo military emplacements wouldn't get him a square meal at his club. So, I said, maybe poor old Control was losing his grip. That bored them. Back to the cooler. Punished again. You know, I hoped I'd go mad. And no, they knew how to stop that. They left me alone for a couple of days. Got me ready for the long run. That was when I gave them what they wanted.
It's a matter of health as much as anything.
Yes, you don't break exactly. You just run out of stories to tell. I'd reached the point where the things I'd locked away deep down were the only things coming into my brain. That was when I told them about Control's charts on Stefchek.
And also about Control's rotten apple theory.
Yes, the mole. The code names we'd worked out for Control's suspects. Tinker, Percy Allaline. Tailor, Bill Hayden. Soldier, Roy Bland. Poor man, Toby Esterhazy. Beggar man, George Smiley.
What was the reaction?
He thought for a bit. Then he offered me a cigarette.
Who did?
What? Oh, sorry. By this stage, there was some frosty, bearded fellow left. Seemed to be a head boy. Just him and a couple of guards standing back a bit while he made his kill. I hated that damn cigarette.
Why?
It was a foul American thing. Camel, actually. I remember the packet.
Did he smoke them?
Never stopped.
And was that the end of it?
More or less, yes.
I have to know everything, Jim.
The rest was just gossip. He wanted to know a lot of circus tittle-tattle, who was going up, who was going down, a lot of tripe.
About what? Who?
Bland, how much was he drinking? Esterhazy, how could anybody trust a man who dressed like that? A lot of tripe.
What did he say about me?
He showed me a cigarette lighter. Said it was yours. Present from Anne with all my love, her signature engraved.
Did he tell you how he came by it?
Some confrontation years ago, said you'd remember.
Anything else? Oh, come on, Jim. I'm not going to weaken at the knees just because some Russian hood's made a bad joke about me.
He reckoned that after Bill Hayden's fling with her, she might care to redraft the inscription. I told him to his face he could go to bloody hell. You can't judge Bill by things like that. He's got different standards.
He was certainly never one for regulations.
And you were never one to see him straight. That's it. Everything.
Bill made a huge fuss about your repatriation. He said any price was fair to get one loyal Englishman home. I remember his verdict on Control's handling of Testify, the most incompetent operation ever launched by an old man for his dying glory, and Jim Prideaux paid the cost of it.
Proud of your memory, aren't you?
Did you see Bill at all after you got back?
No?
Your oldest, closest friend?
I was in quarantine, wasn't I?
Well, yes, but never mind. Let's just go over your debriefing at Sarat to wrap it up. Were the Inquisitors sympathetic or not?
Never appeared. No questions at all. I was in limbo, ate a lot, drank a lot, slept a lot. Then Toby Esterhazy turns up. New suit, full of himself. Tells me the circus had nearly gone under because of Operation Testify, and I'm currently #1 leper. Control's out of the game, and there's a reorganization going on to appease Whitehall.
They sent Toby?
Yes, the little charmer. He told me not to worry.
About what?
My special brief, whatever Control had told me.
Did Toby spell it all out?
He said a few people knew the real story, and I needn't worry because it was being taken care of. All the facts were known.
Were they indeed?
And then he gave me 1,000 quid in cash to add to my gratuity.
Who from?
Didn't say.
Didn't all this strike you as a bit odd? No Inquisition. Toby throwing loose money around. After all, through you, the Russians had discovered the exact reach of Control's suspicions about a traitor in the circus. He'd narrowed the field to 5. And no one's asking you anything.
The facts were known, man. Toby ordered me not to approach anyone or to try and make my story heard. The circus was back on the road. I could forget Tinker Tailor and the whole damn game. Moles, everything. Drop out, he said. You're a lucky man, Jim. Forget it, eh? Forget it.
So Toby actually mentioned Tinker Tailor to you. However did he get hold of that?
And that's what I've been doing. Obeying orders, forgetting.
George, old boy. What an amazing thing. Trust you popping up out of nowhere.
How are you, Jerry?
George, this is terrific. What are you doing now? How's the demon wife? How's everything? No, damn it. First things first. What'll you have? You don't fancy a bottle of the bubbles, do you? Shall we?
A brandy and ginger ale would suit me very well, thanks.
You sure? All right. Hey, Linda, sweetheart. Give us a double brandy, a bottle of ginger ale, and another bucket of gin, will you? Good girl, lad. I think I'll marry her.
How many would that be, Jerry?
I'm a divorce addict, a hopeless case. Not lucky like you, George. But there's only one Anne. Now, I'll do a deal with you, an offer you can't refuse. I'll shack up with Anne and be the envy of London, and you can have my job on the comic. You've got just the turn of phrase for the women's ping pong. Inscrutable Chinese wizardetti. Do you fancy it?
Is that the task for today?
Oh, much bigger stuff, old boy. Footer, the opiate of the people. Heap big transfer. Scottish thunder boots to rescue of ex-champions now on the slide. Thanks, Linda, my love.
Do you want me to write it down, Mr. Westerby?
Ah, please, Linda. Cheers, George.
Cheers. This isn't entirely a chance meeting. I got the letter you wrote me last football season. I burnt it straight away.
Right. Thanks. Stupid of me. Talking out of school. Sorry.
No. You obviously did what you felt was the best thing at the time, and so did I.
Haven't seen many of the boys and girls lately, as a matter of fact. I guess they put us both on the shelf. With me, I can hardly blame them. Firewater not good for braves. They think our blab crack up.
I'm sure they don't. I expect they're just resting you up for a bit. They do that, you know. In case you've been wondering, I didn't tell anyone else about your letter. I was out of favor, indeed, out of work by then. Writing to me wasn't what put them off you, if that's what you thought. In your letter, you said you were a bit worried about Toby Esterhazy. Felt sure to get something off your chest.
Yes, well, I got all xenophobe and suspicious. Thought Tobe had gone a bit haywire, as a matter of fact. I should talk.
Tell me now. You'd just come back from Czechoslovakia, hadn't you?
Last job I did for Tobe. Looks like the last I'll ever do.
Letterbox job?
Yes. Nothing to it, really. Telephone kiosk, ledge at the top, dump a little package, ready for collection. That was Budapest, the Czechoslovak thing I ran into by accident. I had to go on to Prague, you see, for the comic. Nothing to do with Tobe. Linda, sweetheart.
And again, Mr. Westerby?
Please, my beauty. Oh, no. You got time to eat?
Mm-hmm.
We'll go Dutch on that, shall we? I was in this bar in Prague. Always use it. Locals go there, all sorts. Anyway, I got in with this crowd at a corner table. They're playing the squeeze box. We're all hugger-mugger to the music. Oh, thank you, Linda, my love. And there's this kid with a pudding bowl haircut. Army, obvious. Anyway, he's on leave, well in his cups, and he knows I'm English. And he suddenly says, "Do I want to know the truth about the British spy who got himself shot up by the Russian secret police?" Just like that. Yells it right in my ear. I played dumb, of course, and he goes right on with it. You know the Jim Prideaux shambles. Well, the kid was belly aching about the trials and tribulations of being a foot soldier of the line. It seems that on the 2 nights in question, he and his mates were being chased around the place till they were dizzy. Make camp, break camp, move up, move back, fix bayonets. But the big point was the Russian contingent. Full war paint, tanks, motorbikes, tracker dogs, and a big carload of very sinister civilians. Dirty work afoot in the forest. Up near the Austrian border, this was. So, my little friend, being a sassy little devil, decides to ask his sergeant what's it all about. Look, Sarge, he says, what's going on? Are we being invaded, Sarge? No, son, says the sergeant. The Russians are after a British spy who tried to kidnap a general.
After? Or where after?
Exactly. That's what the kid wanted to tell me. The Russians moved in on the Friday. It was the day after when they got Jim. As the kid said, they were ready and waiting for him. Knew the lot in advance. Heap bad story. Bad for our big chief. Bad for tribe. So, as soon as I got back, I went and told all to Tobe.
How did he take it?
But to begin with, it was thanks a million, Jerry, old boy. He'd go and powwow with the top brass. And then the next morning...
You're so plastered these days, you can't tell fact from fiction. You're an embarrassment. You go on a bender, drink yourself into cloud cuckoo land, and come staggering back here with a load of tripe like this. You're pathetic.
Now, look, old boy.
I don't want to hear any excuses.
I had to report what I heard.
Yes, you believed every stupid word of it, didn't you? Swallowed it like mother's milk. A load of half-baked rumors, you come spreading them around here. What you can remember, through your alcoholic haze.
I didn't forget a thing.
Well, you will now. You'll forget the lot. Don't you see? The boy was a plant. Provocateur, in layman's language. He was doing a job for Moscow Center, object disruption, make the circus chase our own tails. And you fell for it, Jerry, that's all.
Okay, Tobe, you know best. If you don't want the story, that's your business. I do it for the paper.
You'll what?
Not the bit about the Russians getting there first, of course not, but the rest of it's all good stuff. The story wasn't covered very well at the time, just the official statement. Now, if old Jerry gets himself a splash about the day the Czechs mobilized for the Third World War, except it was one lone Englishman surrounding him all by himself, that's a good piece. Comic might even run an ad on the telly.
Well, the day after that, I was called for by the editor. The editor, I mean, not the sports bloke. He tells me some clown has been on the phone with a formal warning. Keep that baboon, Westerby, off the Checo spy story. Any further reference against the national interest. End of message. Sir, I didn't get the Reporter of the Year award. Can't, can you, when your story's on the spike? Cheers.
But you didn't spike it entirely. I mean, you wrote to me. Dropped the letter in by hand. Must have been the same day you talked to Toby Esterhazy.
Yes, well, as I say at the time, it just felt odd. My mistake, old boy. When I heard you'd got the heave-ho anyway, I felt an even bigger damn fool. I thought it was you who phoned the editor, you see.
It wasn't.
Of course not. Sorry, old boy. Nothing untoward going on, is there, old boy? I mean, Tribe hasn't gone on the rampage or anything. But are you hunting alone? I mean, I know I'm not the brightest, but when you start asking questions, there's got to be something. All I'm saying is, any time, old boy.
Thank you, Jesse.
Rum chap, Toby Esterhazy.
But good.
My God, first rate. Brilliant, my view, but rum. Don't forget to give my love to Anne, will you? One of the great marriages, that always said so.
Oh, come on, Jerry, out with it. Did Toby say something about Anne?
Some story had got. I told him to stuff it up his silk drawers.
I suppose I should have been prepared for something like this. Take on a temporary, the last thing you expect is loyalty. Well done, that boy. We're going to lose this match. So much for Prideaux's coaching. I'm absolutely furious with that man. It's monstrous to clear off.
Did he say what's wrong with his mother?
No, he did not. She is supposed to be dying.
Well, that's one excuse for absence that he can hardly use again.
Not at all, Mother. It's quite the reverse. One false alarm can easily lead to another. I shall ask for a full medical diagnosis next time. Those front row forwards of theirs look overaged to me.
Did he ever tell you how he got that awful shoulder?
Oh, fell off a bus with a bottle of vodka.
What?
Fell off a bus with a bottle of vodka inside him, I shouldn't wonder. I suppose I shall have to take his French.
Oh, come on, Thur's good! Be tough!
He's gone in the Alvis because he'd never trust any other form of transport. But if he'd gone for good, he wouldn't leave the caravan behind, would he? Stands to reason that. Besides, he'd have said goodbye properly, Rhino would. Wouldn't just go, not Rhino. Not like a juju man.
Come about the furs.
Hello, Toby.
Peter?
It's not exactly 5-star, but then we are shopping a bit down market. Safe houses I have known. Take the weight off your feet. Won't be long. So we're expecting a Pole, are we, Peter? A Pole in the fur trade you think I might like to take on as a courier? I'd like him on my own payroll for preference. It looks useful. But what's the point? My lads are underemployed as it is. Very generous of you, Peter. Stay put, Toby.
Sorry about this, Toby.
Against the wall, Tobe.
Did he come alone, or is there some little friend waiting down in the square?
Looks all clear to me, sir.
Go back to the other room and don't take your eyes off the street. You've seen something?
Turn the light out a moment. Just a shadow, I suppose. Yes, I think so. I want to put a thesis to you, Toby, about what's been going on. Let's cast our minds back, say, about 18 months, when Control is still with us. Percy Allaline wants his job, everyone knows that. But although Control is sick and past his prime, Percy can't dislodge him. It's a time of uneasiness in the circus. Morale is low, activity is low, yes?
I remember, George.
Well, Percy's door opens one day and one of our senior men walks in. We'll call him Gerald. Well, it's just a name. And Gerald says, Percy, I've stumbled on a major source of Russian intelligence. It could be a gold mine. Perhaps they take a walk in the park or drive in a car, but whatever, Percy listens. Because what Gerald goes on to say is music in Percy's ears. Some of us, Gerald tells him, are worried sick about the state the circus has got into. I mean, look at our operational losses. Agents, networks. He's careful not to suggest there's a traitor inside the circus, but he emphasizes that slovenliness at the top is leading to failure all round. That is to say, it's all Control's fault. My thesis, you understand.
Sure, George.
Another notion is that Percy Allaline was his own Gerald, that he went out and bought himself a top Russian spy and manned his own boat from then on. But I don't believe that's what happened. I think he'd mess it up, don't you?
Sure, George.
So the next thing is for Gerald to say to Percy, I and a little group of like-minded friends want you to be our father figure, Percy. We are not political men. We don't know our way in the Whitehall jungle, but you do. Did you bring a babysitter, Toby?
George, why should I? I came to meet Peter and some Pole in the fur trade.
Do you want Fawn to go down and have a look?
No, need him here. Can't take the chance. Yes, well, Gerald says that if Percy will handle the committees, he and his friends will handle Merlin. Merlin being the Moscow intelligence source, and witchcraft, the name of the material he supplies. And how well it all worked. Merlin's material proved excellent, as everyone agreed, except Control. And eventually Control was out, and Percy was king.
So what's new, George?
Ever bought a fake picture, Toby?
Sold a couple once.
The more you pay for it, the less inclined you are to doubt its authenticity. Merlin's price was 20,000 francs a month into a Swiss bank, according to the file. Oh, yes, Toby, this is official. There came the day when Gerald admitted Percy to the greatest secret of all, that the Merlin setup has a London end. Alexei Alexandrovich Polyakov, cultural attaché at the Russian embassy in London. You're on record as grading him Snow White, Toby, quite untainted with the mischief of espionage. In fact, he's Merlin's London representative. That's a start, I should tell you now, of a very clever knot. Now, everything to do with witchcraft is secret, of course, but inevitably a lot of people are involved. Transcribers, translators, codists, evaluators, God knows what. Doesn't worry Gerald, of course. He likes it. Because the art of being Gerald is to be one of a crowd. But when it comes to Polyakov, that's a different story. Who knows it? Only you, Roy Bland, Bill Hayden, and Percy. 3 of you and Alaline. You're the magic circle. Who meets him, Toby?
For God's sake, let me sweat the bastard.
You all meet him. How's that? Percy represents the authoritarian side, asks after his wife, suggests it's time he took a little holiday. Very paternal, Percy would be. Bill Hayden, I think, would see Polyakov much more often. Bill's a Russian expert, for one thing, and he's good entertainment value. I'd expect Bill to shine when it comes to the briefings and follow-up sessions, making sure the right messages went back to Moscow. Roy Bland's good on economics as well as being top man on the satellite countries, so he'd have plenty to chat about. Then there's you, Toby. You'd have your solo sessions with Polyakov because there's tradecraft to discuss and all those little snippets about goings-on inside the embassy, which are very much your field. And if the Magic Circle wanted Polyakov to do some photography inside the embassy, it would be you who would supply the film. Replenish his stock from time to time. Take him little sealed packets. Toby, you wouldn't be lying, would you? Did you bring a babysitter?
Cross my heart, George, I swear to you.
What would you use for a job like this? Cars?
No, on foot. Keep walking them through.
How many?
8. 10, maybe.
What about one man alone?
One? Never. Impossible. I can call Mendel to take a look.
I'm sure Toby's right.
Listen, George. I know Polyakov works for Moscow Center. Of course I do. We all know. But come on. Think how many other operations we've run this way. We've bought Polyakov, right? He's a Moscow hood, but he's also our Joe. Now, he's got to pretend to his own people that he's spying on us. So we've got to give him 1 or 2 goodies now and again. Sure, I've passed him the odd sealed packet. Chicken feed. So he can send them home and Moscow Center clap him on the back and tell him he's a big man. It happens all the time. Now, come on, George. You know the game.
So are you Polyakov's agent inside the circus? Someone has to be. If Polyakov's cover for meeting you people is that he's spying on the circus, then he must have a man on the inside, mustn't he? And Polyakov can't report back to Moscow Center after he's picked up a great load of circus chicken feed and just say, I got this from the boys. He's got to have a whole history. How he selected his man, courted him, bought him, how they meet and where. The whole paraphernalia of running a double agent, and all this in Moscow Center's archives. You, Toby? Toby Esterhazy masquerades as a circus traitor in order to keep Polyakov in business. My hat, Toby. A dangerous job like that deserves a whole chestful of medals.
You're on a damn long road, George. What happens to you if you never reach the other end?
With Lakon and the minister behind me?
Why become the little guy? Why not go for the big ones? Percy Allaline, Bill Hayden.
Thought you were a big guy these days. You're the perfect choice, Toby. Resentful about slow promotion, sharp-witted, fond of money. With you as his agent, Polyakov has a cover story that really sits up and works. The big three give you the little sealed packets of chicken feed, and Moscow Center thinks you're all theirs. The only problem arises when it turns out you've been handing Polyakov the crown jewels and getting Russian chicken feed in return. If that's the case, Toby, you're going to need some good friends, like us. Gerald, of course, is a Russian mole, and he's pulled the circus inside out.
But witchcraft material isn't chicken feed. It's the best.
It was good at first.
Listen, George. Suppose you're wrong.
Toby. Who told you to muzzle Jerry Westerby? The same person who sent you down to Sarat with £1,000 for Jim Prideaux and the instruction, get lost? Speak up. Was it Percy?
I think so. Maybe it was Bill, though. Well, listen, it was a big operation. Sometimes Roy. It never seemed to come straight from one. There was a committee. I took a lot of orders.
You told Prideaux to forget about Tinker Tailor. Where did that come from?
I never knew what that meant. Now, George, that's the truth.
Poor Toby. Yes, I do see. What a dog's life you must have been leading, running between them all.
George, if there's anything I can do of a practical nature... Oh, you know me, George. My boys are pretty well trained. If you want to borrow them... I'd have to speak to Lakon, of course. But, well, you'd expect that. All I want is for this thing to be cleared up, for the good of the circus. I want nothing for myself.
Where's this safe house you keep exclusively for meeting Polyakov?
5 Lock Gardens at Camden Town.
You're going to be staying here for a night or two. Fawn will look after you. Fawn, you'll have to make appropriate explanations to the circus by telephone. You're having girl trouble or whatever sort of trouble you're in these days. Then there's your wife, of course.
Sure, George. I can handle that.
If he's any bother, Fawn, use your own discretion.
Peter, I want you to watch my back. Will you do that for me? Look for one man, but look.
We will join up at Sussex Gardens.
Same as you, George. Just a feeling. Someone, but I couldn't say for certain.
I covered both of you right to the front door. If either of you did have company, he's cleverer than me. Let's be known. Do you have anyone particular in mind? Shall I go down to pavement level, take a sniff?
Well, proceed?
Yes.
Right. Now, the Minister has one major worry. In his own words, how much porcelain gets broken at the end of the day. Scandal he's talking about. If we unmask the mole, are the Russians going to cut their losses by telling the press of the world how they made fools of us all this time?
I think not. If you make your enemy look stupid, you lose the justification for taking him on.
Yes, I've told him that, George.
So isn't his mind at rest?
He hopes there'll be nothing messy, George. Nothing that could provoke Moscow.
But proceed.
Heavens, yes.
Clean the stables. Problem, flush out the mole.
Method.
We need to alarm him just sufficiently to make him call for a crash meeting with Polyakov at the safe house. A meeting Gerald the Mole needs all to himself, secret from the rest of the witchcraft magic circle. There are two of them, and Alaline.
You've definitely cleared Esterhazy.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Karla really did bring off the perfect fix for a while. It would be beautiful in another context.
Tinker, Alaline, Tailor, Hayden, Soldier, Bland. Spot the mole.
Quite. Ways and means, George.
Brigitte will go to Paris. He'll make use of the appropriate embassy facilities to send a signal to the head of London Station. Something, 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 which we'll now concoct.
Message will be, have information vital to the safeguarding of the service. Request immediate meeting. Personal. Remember, vital to the safeguarding of the service.
It's even true.
Don't forget that. No mistakes, Ricky. Your head's on the block.
Not the only one, Peter.
Check, Peter. Toby Esterhazy did say 2 full milk bottles and all's well and you may enter, yes?
Yes, George, and that's the second time.
Is it? Well, let's not pretend we're not nervous.
Check, George.
Ready? To record? Shall we try it? I'll go upstairs.
What would you like? Monteverdi, Irving Berlin, Mick Jagger?
This machinery, installed at great expense to the British taxpayer, is voice-activated. When I stop speaking, the tape will stop recording. See?
Old Man River, that old man river, he just keeps rolling.
Hello, here's something. Soldiers just arriving. That's all 3 of them in there now. Under starter's orders.
Now, the important point is who gets away first. Just going for a walk. Back with you in a minute. Peter? All clear?
As far as I can judge, no promises.
I think you should come down now.
Proceed?
Proceed.
What's that?
Nothing, just fiddling.
You there?
Yes.
Someone just leaving? Can't quite make him out. Called a taxi right to the door. Cheeky.
Thank you. Join us.
Из наших встреч один один. Просто с это день и время.
Будет это достаточно хорошо для Бленда?
Надеемся, что я достаточно убедительный для Бленда.
А что хочешь выпить?
Scotch. Bloody great big one.
Have you anything on you that you would prefer I should... I go to Paris.
He's got to. He'll play just long enough to keep his dignity. He can't jump the moment he's on Chelsea. And he knows Tower would never stick his neck out. Something to buy back his good name. And then some. Karla's got 24 hours to pull me out. Time's coming.
You butchered my agents. How many since? How many? 200? 3?
4?
Stop that!
All right.
Are you armed, Bill?
I'm a Soviet diplomat. This behavior... Shut up!
Peter, will you please telephone Percy Allaline and ask him and Roy Bland to come here immediately? Then Lacon, then Toby Esterhazy. I think the first thing to do is to play them this evening's tapes. That should save a great deal of time in explanations.
And you've Klucheny.
Alex, really? Oh, they're on. Do you mind if I finish my drink, George?
There was no one out there you noticed.
Quiet as the grave.
Very proper, George. Don't want anything irrelevant, do we? Very tidy, George.
Will Allaline go to Paris? He's got to. He'll delay just long enough to keep his dignity. He can't jump the moment Ricky Tarr tells him to. But he knows Tarr would never stick his neck out like this unless he's got something precious. Something to buy back his good name. And then some. And you and I know what it is. Karla's got 24 hours to pull me out. The time has come, Alex.
Well, that's that. Congratulations, George. Next step, gentlemen.
Would you agree with me, Percy, that our best course is to make some positive use of Bill Hayden? We need to salvage whatever's left of the networks he's betrayed.
Yes.
We sell Bill to Moscow Center for as many of our men in the field as can be saved. For humanitarian reasons. Professionally, of course, they're finished.
Quite.
Then the sooner you open negotiations with Karla, the better. Well, you're much better placed to talk terms with our friend downstairs than I am. Polyakov remains your direct link with Karla.
The only difference is this time you know it. It's definitely your job, Percy. You're still chief, officially. For the moment.
Very well, George.
Excuse me, sir. Mr. Gillam says, is it all right if the Inquisitors take Mr. Hayden away now?
Shall I go first? All the best, Percy.
I want Fawn to stay with me.
I'm sorry about the assault. Unprofessional. It was just that it would have to be Bill Hayden, wouldn't it? He was always our hero, in capital letters. I mean, for the younger lot. My kind, anyway. The antiquated English patriot. Never mind all the dirt we have to do. It's for England. The funny thing about all this, it's quite an effort now not to think of him with affection.
I suppose Bill would say that means you've grown up, Peter.
Always good for a laugh, wasn't he, Bill?
I'd like to thank you, by the way. You helped enormously. No, truly, Peter. Lacon assures me there's been no coercion. I hope that's true.
Oh, yes. No complaints, George. Bit of a nosebleed. Keep feeling dizzy. I'm sure it's just the excitement of it all.
Why have you been weeping?
Sheer exasperation. Really, the pettiness of our inquisitors. They're utterly incompetent. They actually believe I know the names of Karla's other moles around the world. Idiots. I can't talk to people like that.
But you're prepared to say something to me, according to Lacon.
Can't Percy get a move on doing his horse trading with Karla?
Oh, I'm sure it'll only be a matter of a day or two now.
What do you want to know?
Oh. Why? When? How?
You ask that? Because it was necessary. That's why. Someone had to. We were bluffed. You, me, control, all of us. The circus talent spotters all those years ago, they picked us when we were golden with hope. Told us we were on our way to the Holy Grail, a lifetime of glory in front of us, service to the great cause, freedom's protectors. What a question. Why? Do you know what's killing Western democracy, George? Greed and constipation. Moral, political, aesthetic. I hate America very deeply. The economic repression of the masses. Institutionalized. Even Lenin couldn't foresee the extent of that. Britain... Oh, dear. No viability whatever in world affairs. I suppose that's when it began. Turning my eyes to the East, I mean. When I saw how trivial we'd become as a nation. Say, mid-40s. By 1950, I was slipping Karla occasional gifts of intelligence, carefully selected morsels to help the Russian cause against America. At that time, I was scrupulous not to give Moscow anything harmful to ourselves, our own agents in the field. I still believe the secret services are the only real expression of a nation's character. Until the mid-50s, I still had hopes, lingering loyalty to what we represented. Self-delusion, of course. We were already America's streetwalkers. I was granted Soviet citizenship 12 years ago. They've given me a couple of medals.
What medals?
I didn't ask him. Does it matter?
Quite a lot to Bill, one supposes.
Possibly.
We're going to get a bit more from him, I hope. I do hope so, George.
He's right about the state of affairs down there. Slovenly. They don't even patrol the perimeter, day or night. I have mentioned it.
The thinking on Sarrat is that it should be as inconspicuous as possible.
I'm concerned for Hayden's safety.
Aren't you being a little overdramatic? The only place he can go to is Russia, and we're sending him there anyway. The number of people who need to be told about all this, as we agree, must be kept as small as possible. I suppose your wife will have to be among them. I know you told me she and Hayden were over and done with now, as you said, but there's always the unknown factor in matters of the heart, isn't there? I'm thinking about the future, any possible further contact. And if Anne doesn't know, she does meet so many different sorts of people.
She gets around.
I'm sorry, George.
Not at all. I quite take your point. Anne must let us know of any approach, directly or indirectly made by or on behalf of.
Exactly.
Or even apparently on behalf of, or merely concerning Bill Hayden.
Thank you.
I was going to tell her anyway. You might call it balancing the books.
Absolutely. You know, George, one thing perplexes me more than anything else about the mole conspiracy. Karla devised Operation Witchcraft primarily as a means of putting poor Percy Alaline on Control's throne. But why didn't Karla want Hayden to take over the circus himself? It surely would have been less difficult to arrange with all Bill's acknowledged accomplishments.
No, no. We had the perfect setup. Percy made the running, I slipstream behind him. Roy and Toby did the legwork. Far better for me to remain the freewheeling subordinate, the laughing cavalier. Being in charge could have bogged me down. Too much admin, diary full of meetings, dinners, chewing the cud in Whitehall.
Never happened to control.
A natural recluse control. I couldn't have behaved like that and got away with it. No, no, George. Karla and I agreed. I'd have been wasted as chief. Could have done it, of course.
Of course.
I'd like to go inside now.
Some of that rain will be turning to snow. So let's put some detail on the weather now for you, and instantly I think you'll see there a pretty miserable picture of the whole country covered in cloud and rain.
Yes, you're right. The Czechoslovakian business was a bit of a desperate throw. But something pretty bold was called for. I was certain control was getting very warm indeed. All that burrowing in the files he was doing. It was paying off, I knew. He'd built up an uncomfortably impressive inventory of the number of operations I'd either blown or managed to cripple. And then, of course, he was narrowing his field of suspects. A short list of officers of a certain age, experience, rank. He did well, considering he was so ill. Surprised Karla.
Was the offer of information from General Stevchik genuine?
Good Lord, no. It was a fix from start to finish. Stevchik existed, of course. Still does. Very distinguished man. But he never offered anything to control or anybody else.
Did you expect Control to send Jim Prideaux?
Well, obviously we needed to be certain Control would rise to the bait. We had to spell it out that he'd got to send a big gun to make the story stick. And we knew he'd only settled for someone outside London Station. Someone he trusted.
And someone who spoke Czech, of course.
Naturally. It had to be a man who was old circus. To bring the tempo down a bit.
Yes, I see the logic of that. It was perhaps the most famous partnership the circus ever had. You and Jim, back in the old days. The iron fist in the iron glove. Who was it who coined that?
I got him home, didn't I?
Yes. That was good of you.
The thing with Anne was Karla's idea.
Was it?
Yes. Did you think it was hers? The point was, Karla always thought if there was a threat, it would come from you. He said you were quite good, but that you had this one weak spot, Anne. It was a double fix, actually. On the one hand, you weren't likely to think of me as a circus spy if you were preoccupied with what your wife and I got up to in bed. And on the other, if it was well known around the place that I was her lover, it was bound to look like personal vengeance if you ever did suggest I might be the mole. So Karla said, not to strain it, but if possible, join the queue. Point?
Presumably it was on Karla's instructions. You were with Anne on the night of the Prideaux shoot-up, as insurance.
Oh, yes, he was adamant on that. They tell me I could be away tomorrow, or the day after at the latest. Can you make sure any mail gets forwarded from my club? Oh, and the balance of my salary, of course.
I will. Anything else?
Oh, yes. Nearly forgot. You got a pen somewhere? Thanks. Girlfriend. Give her this. I'm away on work of national importance. Maybe for years. So she can forget me. And I can't take her with me, can I? Even if I could, she'd be a bloody millstone. Oh, and, there's one particular boy. A cherub, but no angel. Haven't seen a lot of him. We'd better give him a couple of hundred. Can you do that out of the reptile fund?
I would think so.
Good. Oh, God, I'm tired.
My pen, please.
What? Oh. Certainly. Sorry.
Thank you.
Don't look around, Bill.
Oh, it's you, Jim. Come to say goodbye? Nice of you. I'm glad to see you haven't lost your touch. Must be in pretty good shape.
Why did you get me back?
I couldn't leave you rotting in a Czech prison.
Russian. Why didn't Karla finish me off? Was that out of delicacy to you? Wasn't that, was it? You both thought that a corpse might create a lot more fuss than just another repatriated harmless cripple, didn't you?
The shooting wasn't part of the plan, Jim.
No, not the shooting. But everything else.
And that food shall be for store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants, And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Forasmuch as God hath shewed thee all this, forasmuch as God hath shewed, forasmuch as God hath shewed.
For as much as God hath showed thee all this.
Forasmuch as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou.
It seems that at 10:30, Hayden told the guards he felt a bit sick, and he thought a breath of air would help him. Because his case was now considered closed, they saw no reason to tear themselves away from some horror film that had just started on the television, and they let him wander off. Half an hour later, they thought they'd better go and look for him. He'd received no letters, messages during the day. I was the only outsider to see him. But his suit had come back from the cleaners. Possibly a message was concealed in it inviting him to a rendezvous. The guards had not inspected the suit before giving it to him. I'm afraid that doesn't surprise me. Any comments, anyone?
Well, if someone went to the cleaners, said he'd lost his ticket, and could he look through the stuff ready for collection? That's one way.
Would the Russians kill Hayden?
It gives Karla all the reason he needs to cancel the deal on our networks.
But Moscow Center prides itself on getting its people back.
Important point, Roy.
Well, who then?
We will all, of course, have to account for our movements last night. Necessary formality. Also, Mendel, Fawn, Ricky Tower. Then, as to the future, I've been asked to look after things for a while. I'd like everyone to take some leave. And afterwards, there'll be some redeployment. For those of you who wish to remain with the service.
George. Hello.
Anne?
just the same.
You too? No, Julian, was that his name?
Jake. And no Jake. Gone. I actually got a job somewhere. I'm quite free at the moment. Enjoying it. Uncle Guzzleguts is away too, Madrid, so I've got the house all to myself.
I brought you this. It goes,
Oh, George. Very nice of you. Well, what's been happening? How have you all been? Did Bill say anything about me? I mean, me as a person, what he thought about me.
Not really.
Are you glad he's dead? Please, don't say not really.
No, I'm not glad. There was a moment when I knew. When I heard his voice talking to Polyakov. Just for a moment, I wanted to shoot him. But it passed.
Bill betrayed totally, didn't he? Everything, everyone. Was he taking some kind of revenge?
He must have talked to you quite a lot.
Should I have passed all that on to you? Pillow talk? Describe Bill.
Yet another man trying to find a little place in history.
Oh, but George. Bill standing at the center of some secret stage, playing world against world. He had a wonderful time. He enjoyed himself. He loved being a traitor. I'm glad he's dead. His life was over. I'm glad for him.
Did you love him? Anne, did you?
No, George. Poor George. Life's such a puzzle to you, isn't it?
To be